Hello world, welcome back to Razor RC. We got another unboxing and first look at the latest Arrma vehicle. This is the Arrma Vorteks 4x4 3S BLX RTR version, of course. And yeah, this is the latest Arrma release. Came out a couple days ago officially. There are some other videos out there on some pre-release models, but yeah, this just came out and I was kind of debating on whether to pick one of these up. But I do have a Granite, one of my favorite RTR bashers of all time. Excellent vehicle, and the Vorteks is obviously pretty similar, but I just want to take a quick look at this thing inside and see what's going on, as well as share my opinions. So first of all, there are a few different colors: red, white, and blue, pink and purple, and then also a green and blue there. Had to think a little bit about which color to get, but decided to go with the red, white, and blue. Obviously, I am a big fan of the red and white. And then here on the side, you can see what it looks like. So this is pretty much just based off the standard 3S BLX line. Use the same chassis, everything as like the Granite. I think the arms are actually shorter, so we'll have to see. I'm not sure. Same power modules, some new electronics actually, so they did update this to the Spectrum BLX 100, new, what are they called, the Qatar wheels and tires. Pretty cool looking wheels. These are very similar to like the F11 wheels, I believe they're called, from Proline. Plastic discs as usual, as before, though they do have steel internals on there. And then here's your little slipper clutch system, castellated. Little roof sliders, new wing on this particular model, slipper there again. So yeah, some pretty standard parts for the 3S line. There are a few little updated things. Anything else here on the other side? You can basically see a list of updated electronics. So this is still considered a V3. It's the latest V3, but they did update the electronics. This has the higher end DX3 Spectrum radio with DSMR technology. It's got the standard S651 servo, the new ESC, including a fan, and then yeah, it's all smart Spectrum stuff compatible. I'm not a smart person. Me not smart, so I don't use that stuff, but yeah, sealed bearings, which is nice that they've started doing that with all the V3s. Here's a 36x60 3200 kV motor, radio as I mentioned, and then the gears. So yeah, pretty cool looking vehicle. I have not taken a look inside, so we're just gonna do a quick live unboxing and packaging of this thing, and we will see what we got going on. It does sell for $380 here in the United States. That is minimum advertised pricing. So obviously a price increase over the previous 3S line, which sold for $320. So I was kind of shocked that they actually changed the price on this, but they do include some upgraded components. Whether that's actually worth $60 or not, a little bit debatable, but you know, it is actually a different vehicle slightly. So here's the radio, the DX3 radio. Great radio. I'm a big fan of this. Smart compatible, which I don't really care about, but it does use the DSMR technology. You can bind this to all your other Spectrum radios, like a DX5C or DX5 Pro or whatever, DX5R, 4 AA's. Nothing, you know, particularly new about this, but great radio. Big fan of that. Does have the little smart battery level indicator if you're using smart batteries, and then it also has AVC, which is basically a form of like stability control. So that is new. That is better than the SLT 3 radio that comes with the rest of the 3S line radio. Optional speed pinion. I'm not sure what the size on that. I think it's like 19 teeth or so. This funky little tool, which I'll have to see how that actually works. Some preload spacers for your shocks, extra spare tethers for the body clips, and then a little Allen wrench there as well. So yeah, some extra screws. No, not extra screws. Those are just tethers. So some nice little extras. The Arrma manuals aren't bad. They actually have some extra information on how to actually take apart and service your vehicle. And yeah, let's take a little closer look at the truck. Okay, here we go with the truck itself. Nice paint scheme. This is a pretty fancy looking, rather busy paint scheme. Honestly, if you take a look at this next to a Wrestler 4x4 3S, which honestly is probably the main competitor to this truck, they actually look kind of similar. It's got the crazy graphics, somewhat Traxxas-like. Does have the nice body tethered pins and stuff like that. It's got the integrated wing mount here on the back, which will provide some downforce. It looks like it would actually be functional, so that's nice to see. Protects the rear end a little bit. And I suspect the body would probably last longer than normal. That's really the biggest weakness of the Granite. I also have a Granite 4x3 3S BLX, and the rear end just gets destroyed on that thing really easily. So this looks like this will hold up a little bit better. Maybe your body will get destroyed, but at least the rear end will be better protected. Roof sliders, just a really nice looking body overall. Big fan of that. So here's the actual truck. Looks very similar to a Granite, but it does sit a little bit lower. It looks like less preload spacers. It does have shorter shocks. I believe the rear shocks are from the front of the Granite, and the front shocks are a brand new design. I'm also curious to see if they actually updated these with threaded shock rod ends, because that was really the biggest weakness, or my main complaint about the 3S shocks, is that the rod ends are just kind of pressed on, can definitely strip out pretty easily. So I think they are working on threaded rod ends. Don't know if they include that in this vehicle. Front bumper there, pretty cool to see, with a little integrated shock absorber. I think the shock towers are also shorter. Someone let me know. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the shocks towers are slightly shorter, and then they do have these adjustable body mounts, which are also shorter. So the whole truck, from the body on down, definitely sits a lot lower than, say, a Granite. The shocks don't extend down as far. So really the difference between, say, a stadium truck or truggy, whatever you want to call this, and then something like a Granite monster truck, is that this is designed to be lower slung, lower to the ground, should handle quite a bit better, lower center of gravity because everything is sitting down lower. And then the other big thing is, with those shorter shocks, you can see there's not a whole lot of what is called droop, which is how far the wheels extend below the chassis. I use the term droop a lot, but you can see kind of those axles are, you know, pretty much lined up with the bottom of the chassis here. So the shocks don't hang down like super low. When they're up, you know, sort of tucked up higher like that, not extending it as far, well, the truck's basically not going to roll quite as much because those wheels can't lift quite as far. So that actually is a handling change. Obviously, you don't have quite as much suspension travel because you don't have as much shock extension, not as much droop, so it won't be able to land huge jumps without chassis slapping quite as much, but it should handle on the ground a lot better, and probably through the air, like flying through the air, a little bit better as well. Yeah, these body posts definitely look quite a bit different. They kind of extend out from the rear end like that, and the front end is just kind of tucked nice and low with kind of a side brace. I'm not sure if the regular Granite has that piece. Other than that, looking at the chassis, you can see the brand new Spectrum BLX 100 ESC. I don't think these things are Hobbywing program card compatible, so that was my main complaint with the V5 Arrmas, the 6S line, is that you can no longer adjust these through the Hobbywing program card, so you would have to buy like the Spectrum program card. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Standard servo as before, Metal Gear 23 tooth. Servo horn, not a fan of that. So if you go to an aftermarket servo, those are usually 25 tooth, and you will need a different servo saver. So they got the black servo saver underneath, which is what they typically use on these 3S line, and you'd either get the old red one or maybe buy like a Kimbrough or some other brand servo saver. Fan, everything looks the same as before. Wheelie bar here in the back. So yeah, cool looking truck. It does have a slipper clutch rather than a center differential. So that's really probably the area I feel is the weakest in terms of performance. Something like a Wrestler, I can't remember if the 4x4 comes with the slipper. I don't think it does, but you can get a center differential option for the Wrestler, which should make it handle better. So we'll have to see how this thing actually drives. Tires are quite firm. There is foam inside. Foam is softish, but the tires themselves are quite hard. I have not used these Qatar tires before on any Arrmas, so this is new to me. We'll have to see how that actually drives. Looks like kind of a combo, street and dirt. Maybe more of a higher traction dirt, like a wet dirt, clay type surface would work a little bit better than like a super loose dusty, although it does have kind of these scoops. So we'll have to see how this performs. Obviously it's not going to rotate as much in the air with the smaller tires, lighter tires. They should be vented. Yes, they are vented tires. Pretty cool. I do love these wheels, sort of that gray multi-spoke design. Really attractive looking wheels. Probably the best looking wheels in the Arrma lineup, honestly. Aluminum hinge pins here in the back. I believe the front are as well, I can't remember. So steel hinge pins with aluminum bracing up front, adjustable turnbuckles as well. Let's take a quick look at those. They look like they're all actually lined up as well. So big kudos to Arrma getting all your turnbuckles lined up the same orientation. I might be the only one that notices, but I am a fan of that. Plastic center drive shaft. That is, again, one of the weaknesses of the 3S line. If you get a rock or something stuck in here, it kind of jams up that center drive shaft, tears it apart, and they're not expensive, but you know, something I personally feel like I wish they had a metal version or something. Battery straps. So this is 2S, 3S compatible. I assume you can run this on nickel metal hydride as well. Never actually did that. Shock guards on the front. They're standard composite drive shafts, telescoping. They actually hold up pretty well. You definitely need to make sure your slipper is set correctly if you ever find yourself breaking drive shafts, breaking spur gears, even the plastic input diff gears on your differentials. Almost always it's because your slipper is set too tightly. It is critical to get that set right. So yeah, pretty cool looking truck overall. You could even add that little center brace if you wanted from the Arrma, I guess, Outcast 4S at this point, if you really wanted a center brace, but not necessary, I don't think, on these vehicles. Smart system with, looks like small little capacitors here. There, IC5 connector. So yeah, really some updates to the electronics, slightly different shocks, lowered shock towers, lower body posts, and then just kind of a updated body with some additional plastic. So $60 price increase over the standard 3S line. Looks okay. I mean, $350 I think would be a little more fair, but I can't really fault Arrma for increasing the price on these vehicles. So yeah, there you have it. A quick look at the Arrma Vorteks 4x4 3S BLX. I'm going to definitely be trying to run this as soon as possible, get some thoughts. Looks like a fun little truck. I never had a Rustler 4x4, so kind of this truggy style, or it's really a four-wheel drive stadium truck is what I would call it. Is pretty cool. I have owned 4x4 truggies in the past, so we'll have to see how this drives, and hopefully can take this out to the track at some point as well. That'd be pretty fun. So hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.